Well, 9 years ago, it was August of 2016, in fact, Sir Guy Carleton Elementary School in East Vancouver was badly damaged by fire. Now, that blaze led to the school's closure and its students being enrolled at other nearby schools. Carleton is one of the oldest schools in the city. It first opened up in 1896. And this week, Vancouver School Board trustees voted to permanently shut it down, but not without opposition. Suzie Mah is a COPE Vancouver School Board trustee. She opposed the motion to permanently close the school, and she joins us this morning. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Thanks very much for being with us. Tell us a little bit more about the history of Sir Guy Carleton Elementary School.
Well, the school has been there for over 120 some odd years. It is basically right on the corner of Kingsway and Joyce, a very busy intersection. It's a very large piece of property, and it actually has on part of it heritage site. There's heritage buildings on the site, which is currently being used by Green Thumb Theatre, nonprofit society, and it has a big old yellow shingle building as well as the main building. And so only part of the building was damaged by fire, not all of the structures.
Right, and so the building that is the brick school itself, the largest building on the site, I guess, was the one that was damaged by the fire.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and are both other buildings are still in use? Are they?
No, none of the buildings other than the Green Thumb Theatre.
Okay.
So there's two little yellow buildings on the west side.
Okay. Now, this is the fire is what led to the closure. What's been happening at the school then for the past 9 years?
Well, actually, it's interesting you mentioned the fire, and that was the cause for closure. The Carleton has been actually sort of contemplated as being on the chopping block even prior to 2016. There was a plan that was a long-range facilities plan prior to that considered closure for that school. And I think the 2016 fire just sort of, pardon the pun, fueled the necessity to close the school and deem it not operational.
And so did you see the closure of the school as a necessity?
No, that's why, first of all, I mean, there's two things that happened at last night's meeting.
Mm-hmm.
First was I tried to make a motion to pause consideration, postpone the consideration of closure. And I had reasons for that. And then when that failed, we went directly to talking about closure. So I was opposed. First of all, I wanted to pause it because there were certain parameters that I talked about last night. And then, of course, I was opposed to closure because I am not convinced that it's surplus to the needs of the students and in that community and the community itself.
Melanie Chang, the chair of the Vancouver District Parent Advisory Council, says that the nearby community has firmly resisted the permanent closure. What have you been hearing from that community on the issue?
I've had so many emails. We received pictures of this Hearts campaign that the Carleton community put together. There has been house signage, Save Carleton. There's been several town halls, emails, conversations that I've had with people. There's been a real groundswell of people who are really sad to see this school go.
And so given all of that, for trustees who voted to close the school, what was their rationale?
I guess the rationale was that they felt the urgency to do that. And then they also talked about the Conseil Scolaire, the Francophone school district in the province, asking to acquire that site for a possible secondary school. And so trustees felt that there was a rush to make a decision to close the school, and they were, I gather, convinced that there was enough data to support that the needs of the school was not there, basically.
So would the building be preserved for that secondary school use, or would that building be torn down and a new building built?
Well, one of the things that's important in this process is that Policy 14 of the school board only looks at whether or not to close. So once we make that decision, and that decision is made, then it goes to another policy, which is Policy 20, which is looking at the disposal process. And there's a whole new discussion that has to be had, and then it could be used it could be offered to the CSF. We could be looking at subdividing it,
Hmm.
possibly. We could be looking at, preserving part of it and not others. And so again, that discussion will be taking place afterwards.
All right. And right now we're told that the VSB will review all alternative uses for the site. If the Francophone secondary school isn't accepted as a use, any other ideas there?
Well, the community, through the consultation process and through all the feedback that I've received, they want this site used for community good. It's public land, it's a public parcel of land, and it should go back to the community and serve the community, as well as if at the end of the day we do decide to offer it to the CSF for Francophone students, there needs to be a coexistence of public good for this public land. So again, totally open to listening to what the public and the community would like to see for the usage. There's also, as I spoke last night at the meeting, there's also the need for us to work with the City of Vancouver. There is the draft official development plan that the City of Vancouver is going to be voting on early next year, and that in its plan has a policy that specifically looks at public schools and the need for the City of Vancouver to work with the school district to preserve public land for public good.
All right. Suzie Mah, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. That is Suzie Mah. She is a COPE Vancouver School Board trustee.